rocky and slick, and this bike is just so composed. Hey, all right, so we're out on the trails with one of the newest additions to the Turbo Levo Generation 3 family. It's been available in carbon for quite a while, but now we've got some aluminium bikes to take a look at. Things stay the same, still a full power 4xU e-bike, 29-inch wheel up front, NIMBLE 27.5 wheel out the back. It's got 160mm of suspension up front, 150 out back, so it's good for pretty much everything. Let's take it for a spin and see how it feels. The new Levo is different to the SL series. These are the full power e-bikes with a massive 90 Newton meters of torque. The range is massive on the new Levos. Most bikes have a huge 700 watt-hour battery that can give you up to 5 hours of riding. The new bikes are mullets, so they got a 29 wheel up front that's fast rolling, while at the back end you got the strong, nimble and flickable 27.5-inch wheel. Geometry has changed from the previous version. It's had the long low slack treatment, but the back end still remains tight with that smaller 27.5 wheel and those short chainstays. The revised geometry gives you a steep seat angle that really helps when you're climbing, a long reach for stability at speed, and a slack head tube angle that really calms things down on those technical steep descents. The new bikes use S sizing. Much like the other bikes in the Specialized range, they now size by reach. This means a rider of a certain height might fall into the category of two different size bikes. The new Levos have much improved weatherproofing. This really helps keep the mud, slop and water out of those delicate parts, so you can now ride the Levo whatever the weather. Even though there's a lot of power being given, it's still quite subtle in its delivery, it doesn't kick. So there are some geometry adjustments. Specialized send another headset cup to change the angle plus or minus 1 degree. Out of the box, it's 64.5 degrees, which is pretty slack. You can make it even slacker or a bit steeper, depending on where you ride and how you ride. There's also a flip chip down here. So this controls the BB height and the length of the chainstay. At the moment, it's in high mode, which is the short chainstay high bottom bracket. That should work really well. We'll keep that back end nimble so we can get it around some of the tight corners. So they're pretty tight corners, some of these. You can feel that nimble back end. It's a lot lighter as well, this one. The motor itself is 400 grams lighter. Something very important to note is Specialized Mission Control app. This syncs to your bike and it gives you all sorts of data. Importantly though, it allows you to tailor how much assistance you get from each mode. So rocky club. So very stable feeling. Oh, just gliding over on the big rock. Alright, this is loose and rocky and slick. And this bike is just so composed, it's barely skipping around. That big wheel works really well. This is ridiculous. I'm constantly blown away by what this bike will go at. Okay, so the day's pretty much done. The light is going. We've done just over 20 miles, just over 2,500 foot of climbing. Mostly in trail mode, but I must admit turbo mode is such a hoot. I've been in that quite a lot. So we've got 4 bars out of 10 left on the battery. That's without using the smart control through the Mission Control app. That's just using the stock settings. It's a hell of a bike. The mullet works really well. The back end's really maneuverable, but the front just plows straight on through. It tracks really well. The weight being so low down means it's incredibly stable. There's been some really slick limestone today and a lot of deep mud, and it just hasn't phased it at all. What a machine, the new Levo. Woo!